just means that they won't drive a location's satisfaction that much. This is the 1300s. The nobles still have a huge amount of political influence. Control will also propagate out through infrastructure. That means building a road network, or maritime presence along your coastline. So how else would we go about increasing satisfaction? By tending to our population's needs. A quick way to try to find pressure points for an estate is to simply hover over the estate on the UI here, lock your tooltip, and then check their monthly expenses. Lowering the cost of goods at the top of this list will increase estate satisfaction by lowering the amount of money they have to spend on their needs. You can see that our commoners are spending a huge amount of their money on livestock in Barcelona. Creating more livestock RGOs will increase the supply and lower the price. Now, different estates will have different needs. Our commoners are mostly concerned with getting their daily meal. But if we check our nobility, they're mostly concerned with luxuries, fine cloth, and finding that next glitterhoof. Something to keep in mind is that a higher tier pop will consume way more resources than a lower tier pop. This is a trade-off. It's good because it creates demand in your market, creating profitable business opportunities. It is bad in that if you cannot meet the demand, that will drive a shortage, which will decrease satisfaction. Let's check to see if there are any unfulfilled needs for our pops here in Sigils. An easy way to see what needs are not being met in a location are to simply hover over this button right here. You can see near the top of our list, fine cloth and livestock are in great need. We saw a hint of this when we were looking at the estate satisfaction. The nobility was spending a lot of money on fine cloth because we don't have a lot of fine cloth, and the commoners were spending a lot of money on livestock because the supply is low. If we want to quickly try to remedy these problems, we can click on the Barcelona market here. There's a lot of different ways to sort this information, but if we sort by goods balance, we can find what items we have the biggest deficit in, and we can try to fix that problem. These three buttons will allow us to address the situation. The first button will bring us to a panel sorted by buildings that are applicable to this item. The second one will take us to the RGO panel applicable to this item, and the third button will allow us to import that good into the market. Needs and demography are just one piece of the population puzzle. As we mentioned earlier, culture and religion also play a huge part when it comes to satisfaction. Let's start with religion, and for that we need to navigate to the Religious Society tab that we saw before. On the right-hand side here we can see our religious tolerances. For every point of religious tolerance, a pop gains 5% satisfaction. So anybody we consider a heathen will have negative 25% satisfaction. It is notable that religious opinions can vary, even among different religions within the same category. Here we can see that both Sunnism and Judaism are heathen faiths in our nation. But we have worse opinions of Sunnism and they have worse opinions of Catholicism. This religious opinion provides additional modifiers to satisfaction, as well as affecting the ease of diplomacy with nations whose primary religion is of that faith. It's also worth noting that our clergy estate gets a massive bonus to estate satisfaction equal to 10% of our religious unity number. Our current religious unity is 87.45%, so we can see that we have a clergy estate satisfaction of plus 8.74%. So how do we go about improving our religious satisfaction scores? Well, there are two clear ways to go about this. Either we live in a harmonious state, a tolerant society where we accept everyone equally, or we attempt to force everyone to conform by converting their religion. Converting religion is something that will happen naturally over time based on a number of modifiers, but can also be goosed by a cabinet action. Do be warned though, converting pops will enrage them, and you run the risk of rebellion when doing so. You can change how tolerant your society is and how powerful your conversions are through laws and societal values. Religion and our clergy's satisfaction will also have a major impact on our technology. Here we can see we have our liturgical language, and it is Latin. This is again another pop-driven mechanic that grants a flat research bonus based on the power of this language. Looking at the map, we can see that we share the liturgical language of Latin with most of Europe. We can band together and all increase the power of Latin, which gives us all a bigger research bonus. However, most of our research is coming only from the collective clerics of our nation, as most of the countries only have this as a contribution to language power. In this way, we can sort of think of Latin as a wide language, sharing many members, and Japanese as a whole language entirely contained in a smaller number of nations. Linguistics is where culture and language begin to cross paths. As like your liturgical language interplays with your clergy satisfaction, your court language affects your noble satisfaction. In fact, linguistics affects all states. Having a court language that is powerful caters to the nobles. Having it be the common language increases satisfaction of the peasants. The clergy prefer to be the same as the liturgical language, and having it be the same as the market capital gives a bonus to trade capacity and burghers. Culture has strong similarities to religion regarding satisfaction. In EU5, there are multiple levels of cultural acceptance, each affecting satisfaction. We've covered these a little bit before. Tolerated cultures will give a 5% satisfaction bonus, accepted cultures 10%, and your primary culture has a large 25% bonus. Much like religion, cultural opinion also impacts satisfaction and diplomacy. If we take a look at our accepted cultures tooltip here, we can see that we are currently using 1.39 of 2 cultural capacity. Where that 1.39 is currently coming from is right here. And where the maximum is coming from is listed right here. It's coming from our kingdom rank and our advancements, so this number will go up over time. If we take a look at Andalusi right here, you can see that we're currently using 0.65 of our cultural capacity cap to have them as a tolerated culture. If we would like to promote them to an accepted culture, it would raise that to 1.96, a difference of 1.31. If we add that to our current accepted culture usage, we will be over our cap. Now, you are allowed to do that, but you will be taking many negative modifiers to your nation if you do so. You can also demote cultures in your nation, and if you so choose, you can promote a new culture to be your primary. Generally speaking, cultures that view our primary culture in a favorable light will take less capacity to tolerate or accept. If we want to make sure our pop satisfaction is high, we'll need to make sure those pops fall into an accepted culture. As we've mentioned before, your culture has these 2 stats: your cultural tradition and your cultural influence. When it comes to assimilating cultures, cultural influence acts as your culture's offense, and it is compared to the cultural tradition of the culture you're trying to assimilate. So if you're planning on trying to assimilate a lot of other cultures, bolstering your cultural influence is key. And if your culture is under attack by enemy forces, cultural tradition is key. So both of them hand in hand will make a strong culture. These 2 forces impact many other aspects of the game, including integration speed, spy networks, diplomacy, and even sieges. Notable sources of influence are prestige, literacy of nobles, and art. Throughout EU5, and especially after the Renaissance begins, nations can employ artists, which are characters who will generate works of art. Creating art will give us cultural influence. Owning works of art will give us cultural tradition. Higher influence will increase the rate at which our artists can make art. It will increase at a flat rate, but decrease by a percentage, and eventually reach an equilibrium. We can see here that the Crown of Aragon can support 1 artist from being a kingdom country rank, but we have none currently higher. Events throughout the game might produce an artist for our nation, or we might be able to promote one through a parliamentary action, but most of the time we'll simply be able to hire an artist for money. Art that is created by your artist can increase pop promotion speed, conversion, and assimilation in locations where it's kept. And finally, they also increase institution growth. Which can be a critical advantage if you stack all your artwork up in your capital or other notable location, allowing you to get institutions up and running more quickly. In EU5, there are 3 types of owned territory: conquered, integrated, and core. We can look more in depth at the integration map mode for this. Green is our core territory. This one yellow location is integrated. The areas with the stripes through them are core territories not owned by us. Red over here in Sardinia is our conquered territory, and the striped red area is a province in the process of integration. You can see that our conquered areas have debuffs to pop conversion speed, pop assimilation, max control, garrison growth, and has a huge amount of separatism. The tooltip is a little different on the area being integrated. You can see in our breakdown it'll be done February 1st of 1354, and you can see that
Apparently, Johnny Somali. Isn't it funny how he's generated more laughs and better content for people by going to jail than doing anything else in his entire life? This guy has constantly been content going to jail. Apparently, Johnny Somali. Isn't it funny how he's generated more laughs and better content for people by going to jail than doing anything else in his entire life? This guy has constantly been content just for being functionally fucking retarded.
Oh boy. So we just got out of the Johnny Somali October 29th trial date.
Wow.
It's safe to say he's going to be stuck here for a lot longer. Obviously, Johnny has been facing 8 charges for a while now. 2 deepfake charges, 4 business disruption charges, and 2 misdemeanors. But as we found out in last week's court case, Johnny
this is what we need to do to everybody here in the United States. Like South Korea, bro, putting this guy, like basically totally fucking crucifying this guy. This is what we need to do to everybody here. I love this.
Yoon-man for assault with a baton, deepfakes, and stalking. Well, technically he was pressing charges against him. And I mean, that may or may have not happened because he had video of it. So they ended up settling that case, and in the settlement, they both dropped their charges on each other. So Johnny traded 3 charges dropped for 1 with Yoon-man. And there's no real reason for why that wouldn't be accepted, so we're just going to assume that one of those deepfake charges are gone, leaving him with 7 charges left and a maximum sentence potential.
So he only has 7 charges left.
Roughly 12 years, and a minimum sentence of 2 years. But there's one big problem for that, because they need the streamer by the name of Bong Bong to testify. And to put it lightly, she doesn't care. So today's trial, here's the...
She doesn't even want to testify.
3 characters involved: Johnny, Bong Bong, and Yoon-man. Johnny needs no introduction anymore, as everyone knows him as the dude who acts like he has a room temperature IQ. He's been harassing people on the street abroad for content for a couple of years now for quote-unquote fame and money.
Why are you bullying people in other countries? For money, like, for clout.
But in reality,
how'd that work out?
He makes less than a minimum wage worker in the state of Georgia and lives in a bunk.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, $5 an hour.
Bed with the last person on Earth who barely tolerates him, Hank Yu. Allegedly, Johnny owes him roughly $30,000 because he doesn't have any.
Why would you lend Johnny Somali $30,000? I think at a certain point, that's kind of your fault.
Money.
It is. That's your fault.
Hank to live. Hank is also currently banned from the United States, but that's just like a whole nother story.
What? Who is this guy?
This whole story, though, is just like the slowest, most dragged-out train wreck that makes it very clear to never harass strangers on the street and disrespect people's cultures for your content, as clearly it backfired massively.
See, I don't know. Why can't we do this? Bro, South Korea doing this to him is so good. We need to do this to all kinds of these people.
Now, for the other 2. Yoon-man, we mentioned in my last video. He's one of the 4 Korean IRL streamers who wanted to make sure Johnny didn't harass more people.
Oh, do you remember whenever Johnny Somali got out of the hospital, and as soon as he got off the hospital grounds, they meet him inside of the hospital, and this guy's waiting. And he just waits until he gets out of the hospital. Boom! Just fucking hits him immediately. Just waiting for him to go outside of the safe zone. Spawn camp, yes.
For content. So they kept tabs on where he was, and when he acted out, they checked him multiple times. But the clip where Johnny ended up running for his life, that was Yoon-man, who disarmed Hank and chased him around with Hank's baton. And doing so while streaming was incredibly stupid, but then, for some reason, he decided to live stream himself throwing multiple bricks through the courthouse windows during the
fuck? That's retarded. Bricks through the courthouse window? You fucking retarded? In a country that's not like...
What the fuck is wrong with you? What are you doing? What a retard! I know! This is insane, isn't it? Oh my god!
This just came out like 3 hours ago.
South Korea was under martial law, so he ended up being tried alongside of 60 other people in an expedited trial and thrown into prison. And this became massive leverage for Johnny, as they ended up settling last week after Johnny pressed charges against Yoon-man for the incident that we mentioned earlier, as they agreed to drop the charges on each other. Then finally, you have Bong Bong, a Korean streamer who's gained a following in the gutters of the internet, because from everything I've seen of her, something's off. But she decided to stream with Johnny last year. Instantly regretted it because after the stream, he lied and bragged about them being together and showed the
Wait, what did he do?
deep fake of them kissing on his stream.
So, okay, so you live stream yourself with Johnny Somali. Immediately you leave, he deep fakes you kissing him and says you guys are dating? Why is it that I instantly believe this?
while bragging. And what's important is he did so in a very humiliating way. He was like, haha, look at this, look at we did. What we'll later find out is he claims that he didn't do it in a humiliating way, but unfortunately he live streamed himself doing so. So because Johnny yet again is his own star witness against himself,
What an idiot.
it made it very easy for Bong Bong to go to the police station, press charges, and now this is a serious offense in Korea. And because of that one single charge, he's now facing a decade in prison over there. And that's what the trial we're covering today is all about.
But first, I want to talk about today's sponsor, Cooper. Because every year, shoppers miss out on billions of dollars in savings if they just apply discount codes that are available to the public. The only problem, most people have no idea where to find them.
I'm so glad this guy's
It often take time to find. And a certain app that did this back in the day, they're still facing lawsuits. And let's be real, I feel like a lot of people still have honey PTSD from when they got caught replacing creators with referral codes and swapped them out with their own. And they did so when people were just trying to check to see if they had any available
The honey
coupons.
scam.
But thankfully, there's an honest coupon web extension called Cooper. And they do the same with a twist, and thankfully doesn't steal from your favorite creator. As Cooper is a free browser extension that automatically finds, tests, and applies the best working coupon codes at checkout, then gives users cash back for shopping in partner stores. So Cooper offers three main ways to save money on your online purchases. First one being, Cooper automatically searches hundreds of thousands of websites to find you the best deals for products. 2. Cooper also runs coupon testing for over 3 million different retailers to make sure that you're actually buying the item at the lowest possible price.
Pretty good,
and
I would
finally,
say.
they offer a bunch of cashback rewards on tons of retailers, which you can withdraw directly into your bank account or on PayPal. So if that sounds like a win to you, you can join the millions of users who also use Cooper by clicking the link at the top of the description down below and adding it to your
I
web
wonder if
browser.
we're gonna find out in 2 years that this one's a scam too.
But
I don't know.
that, we have a video to
I
finish,
guess we'll
so let's
find out.
continue.
Alright, so it's 11:55 in the morning, 29th of October, 2025. We're here in Seoul, South Korea, trying to get in some last minute electrolytes. I completely forgot my glasses at home, so that's smart. We're gonna be rocking without glasses today. Thankfully, I don't need them that much. We just need some coffee, and we're gonna cover this trial, and we'll be fine. Originally, we're supposed to have 3 testimonies today. It was supposed to be Johnny, Hank, and Bong Bong. But as we found out from watching Bong Bong's streams the other night, quote, she said, "My lawyer told me I don't have to go. I don't care. I don't want to waste my time for Johnny Somali." Okay.
Fucking based. Honestly, fucking based. Yeah, there you go.
Okay, but then obviously someone said, "Hey,
Understandable.
you might have to pay a 5 million won fine," which is roughly like it's like $3,500 or something like that. So then she's
$3,500 to not have to deal with Johnny Somali? You getting off cheap?
said, "I don't know, maybe should just go, worst case.
Yeah.
Just talk to lawyer. I heard you could submit
That's
a
it, yeah,
reason for your
W.
absence. Worst case, we need to get a flight."
This is apparently what she said on stream when she found out it was a bad idea that she traveled to Australia last minute.
The Johnny Somali trial testimony. I don't know. I'm talking to a lawyer, but they didn't answer. Lawyer said that I don't have to, but just in case I will go to airport, I don't know.
Why would you go to Australia
I
then?
think I don't have to. Yeah, I need to pay the fine. If I don't know.
Why are all of the IRL streamers dysfunctional?